Step into Paris during the 1700s, an era of enlightenment, elegance, and revolution. Through AI-enhanced historical artwork, we bring centuries-old paintings to life, showing you what life was actually like in 18th century France. With 600,000 residents, Paris was one of the world's largest cities and the center of art, philosophy, and culture. Home to Voltaire, Rousseau, and the Enlightenment thinkers who questioned everything. But behind the grand palaces lay a city of stark contrasts. While aristocrats lived in luxury along the Seine, most Parisians struggled in crowded, filthy neighborhoods. Stay until the end to witness the explosive moment in 1789 when centuries of inequality erupted into violence that changed France and the world forever. This is the Seine River, painted in the 1750s, showing the Pont Neuf bridge spanning the water. By this time, the bridge was already over 150 years old, completed in 1607. The Seine was a working river, crowded with timber rafts, cargo barges carrying wine from Burgundy, and merchant boats bringing coal and grain to supply Paris's 600,000 inhabitants. The quaysides bustled with dock workers hauling goods through muddy streets. On the right bank stands the Hôtel des Invalides with its magnificent gilded dome, built in the 1660s. In the distance, the twin towers of Notre Dame Cathedral rise from the Île de la Cité, the medieval island that was Paris's birthplace. But the river was far from clean. Raw sewage and industrial waste flowed directly into the Seine, creating a powerful stench. Yet Parisians still drew their drinking water from this polluted river, a health crisis that contributed to frequent disease outbreaks. This engraving shows Notre Dame Cathedral in the early 1700s, the heart of Paris on the Île de la Cité. Construction began in 1163 and took nearly 200 years to complete, creating one of the finest examples of French Gothic architecture. The cathedral's iconic twin towers stand 69 meters tall, and its magnificent rose window dominated the medieval island. Unlike today's open plaza, Notre Dame was completely surrounded by densely packed buildings that came right up to its walls. The narrow streets were dark and filthy, covered in horse manure and waste, with open sewers creating an overwhelming stench. Despite the squalor, Notre Dame remained Paris's spiritual center, hosting royal ceremonies, religious festivals, and daily masses attended by all levels of society, from kings to beggars. The cathedral united all social classes in worship, even as they lived in vastly different conditions outside its walls. Today, Notre Dame still stands, though the medieval buildings around it were cleared in the 1800s. The cathedral was severely damaged by fire in 2019, and despite reopening in 2024, repairs continue. The Palace of Versailles, the magnificent royal residence located about 12 miles southwest of Paris. While not technically in Paris, no video about 1700s, France would be complete without it. Built by King Louis XIV between 1661 and 1715, he transformed his father's hunting lodge into Europe's largest palace, with over 700 rooms, sprawling gardens, and elaborate fountains. In 1682, Louis XIV moved the entire French court and government from Paris to Versailles, making it the center of political power. Thousands of courtiers competed for the king's favor through elaborate ceremonies, living in this gilded cage. The approach was designed to overwhelm visitors. Arriving nobles passed through 3 successive courtyards, the palace's imposing facade growing larger with each step, reinforcing the absolute power of the monarchy. On the garden side, formal gardens designed by André Le Nôtre feature perfect geometric layouts, magnificent fountains, and tree-lined promenades where aristocrats strolled in their finest clothing. The famous Grand Canal stretches over a mile into the distance. The gardens appear pristine in paintings, but the reality was different. Horse manure from constant carriages covered the paths, and maintaining this perfection required an army of gardeners working from dawn to dusk, back-breaking labor that was invisible to the nobles enjoying the grounds. But Versailles' extravagance came at enormous cost, consuming vast tax revenue while ordinary French people struggled with poverty and hunger. This disconnect between royal luxury and public suffering would eventually fuel the revolution. A single example: the palace required thousands of workers just to pump water for the fountains. All this magnificence was built on the backs of common people who could barely afford bread. Today, Versailles remains one of the world's most visited monuments, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, attracting millions annually. Les Invalides was founded by King Louis XIV in 1670 as a military hospital and retirement home for wounded soldiers. Before this, disabled veterans were often left to beg on the streets. Louis XIV wanted to honor those who fought for France by providing them with care and dignity. The massive complex could house up to 4,000 veterans at a time, with dormitories, infirmaries, workshops, and this vast parade ground. The iconic Golden Dome, designed by Jules Hardouin-Mansart and completed in 1706, became one of Paris's most recognizable landmarks. Standing 107 meters tall, including the cross, it gleamed spectacularly in the sunlight and could be seen across the city. Veterans lived under military discipline, attending daily masses, working in workshops where they could practice trades like cobbling and carpentry, and participating in ceremonies. The area was cleaner than crowded central Paris, benefiting from open space and military maintenance. Inside, the church beneath the Golden Dome featured soaring Baroque architecture, painted ceilings, and marble columns. Veterans of all ranks worshipped together, another example of military brotherhood transcending social class. This was a revolutionary concept for the 1600s and 1700s, providing dignified care for common soldiers rather than abandoning them after service. It showed a different side of Louis XIV's reign, beyond the extravagance of Versailles. Today, Les Invalides remains a working military hospital and houses the Army Museum and Napoleon's tomb beneath the Golden Dome, which was added in 1861. By the late 1780s, France was in crisis. Decades of expensive wars and extravagant royal spending had bankrupted the kingdom. Poor harvests caused bread prices to soar, while the nobility paid almost no taxes, leaving ordinary people bearing the entire burden. When King Louis XVI summoned the Estates General in May 1789 for the first time in 175 years, the Third Estate, representing commoners, demanded real political power. The king tried to suppress them. On July 13, 1789, the day before the famous Bastille attack, Parisians stormed the Saint-Lazare prison. Paris was experiencing severe bread shortages, and rumors spread that grain was being hoarded at Saint-Lazare while people starved. Angry crowds stormed the complex, freed about 50 prisoners, and ransacked the buildings. The mob seized stored grain, wine, and supplies, loading them onto carts to distribute in the streets. They systematically destroyed the prison, smashing windows, breaking down doors, and causing an estimated 400,000 livres in damage. This set the stage for the next day's events. On July 14, 1789, Parisians marched to the Bastille, the most dramatic moment of the French Revolution. The Bastille was a medieval fortress prison in eastern Paris, a hated symbol of royal tyranny where the king could imprison anyone without trial. Its 8 massive towers stood 30 meters tall with thick stone walls designed to withstand any assault. On the morning of July 14th, thousands of Parisians marched to the Bastille, demanding weapons and gunpowder stored inside. The fortress's governor, Bernard-René de Launay, refused to surrender. After hours of negotiation failed, the crowd attacked. They brought cannons and fierce fighting erupted. Musket fire and artillery created clouds of smoke that obscured the battlefield. The battle lasted about 4 hours. Nearly 100 attackers were killed, but eventually the defenders surrendered. The crowd stormed inside and freed the 7 prisoners held there. In their fury, they brutally killed Governor Delaunay and several guards, parading their severed heads through Paris on pikes. Though only 7 prisoners were found inside, the fall of the Bastille became the revolution's defining moment. Proved that the people could defeat royal authority through force. The balance of power had shifted forever. The Bastille was completely demolished by November 1789. Workers systematically dismantled the fortress stone by stone, erasing this symbol of royal oppression from Paris forever. Today, the Place de la Bastille and the Column of July monument mark the site, and July 14th remains France's national holiday, Bastille Day, celebrated across the country and around the world. The magnificent palaces, churches, and institutions we've explored today tell only half the story. Behind the grand facades, most Parisians struggled in conditions we can barely imagine today. The narrow medieval streets were dark, filthy, and disease-ridden. Open sewers ran through the center of roads. Horse manure covered everything. Rats were everywhere. Disease spread rapidly through the crowded neighborhoods. The wealthy lived in a completely different world. Elegant palaces with formal gardens, fine clothing, abundant food, and entertainment. Meanwhile, just outside their walls, common people lived in poverty, often going hungry, working brutal hours, and dying young from preventable diseases. This inequality wasn't sustainable. When harvest failures made bread unaffordable and the nobility refused to pay their share of taxes, the social contract broke. The revolution that followed was violent and chaotic, but it fundamentally changed how we think about government and human rights. The ideas of liberty, equality, and democracy that emerged from revolutionary Paris spread across Europe and beyond, reshaping how we think about government, human rights, and society itself. The French Revolution inspired revolutionary movements across the globe. From Haiti's slave rebellion to Latin American independence movements to democratic reforms across Europe. The concept that ordinary people had the right to overthrow unjust rulers became a powerful force that continues to shape our world today. Many of the palaces and churches we've seen still stand. Versailles remains magnificent, Les Invalides still functions as a military hospital, and Notre Dame, despite the 2019 fire, continues to inspire. But many revolutionary sites were deliberately destroyed. The Bastille demolished to erase tyranny's symbol. The Temple fortress razed to prevent royalist gatherings. Paris today is a city shaped by both its royal past and its revolutionary heritage. The grand boulevards, museums, and monuments attract millions of visitors, but they also serve as reminders of both the heights of human achievement and the depths of inequality that sparked world-changing revolution. If you enjoyed this journey through 18th century Paris, please like, subscribe, and comment below what city and what era you'd like to see next. Your hometown may be featured in the next video. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the past.